Hi guys, welcome back to Spooky Witches UK, or if you're new here, welcome to Spooky Witches UK. How are we all doing, my darlings? Are we okay? Good. Today I'm going to be telling you the story of Annabelle. Everybody knows Annabelle. But before I do, don't forget to smash that subscribe button, and if you want to, hit the like button. Let's get into it. Oh shoot, things are already going wrong. So this story starts with a student named Donna, who received this doll off her mum as a gift. Her mum bought this doll from a hobby store. She bought it for her daughter in the 1970s. So she gave this doll to her daughter as a gift in the 1970s. Now, the doll was just an ordinary doll. Her and her roommate Angie, Donna and her roommate Angie, didn't think the doll was anything special. However, over time, they started noticing that the doll was moving subtly, but it was things that could explain if the doll had been knocked over or jolted. It was nothing major. Then the movement started to increase. They would leave the doll on Donna's bed when they went out, and they would come back and it would be sat on the sofa, so it had become fully mobile by this point, which is a scary notion. Now, the girls had a friend named Lou, and he insisted that this doll was evil. Like, there was just something wrong with this doll. He insisted. But the girls, being modern women, they brushed it off. They didn't believe in that kind of thing. Now, they must have thought there was an explanation for whatever was causing this doll to move. Like, they just didn't think anything of it. Excuse me. So, Donna then began finding little bits of paper all over the apartment. And it would be little bits of paper that had things like help us, help Lou, so she then decided enough was enough, and she took the doll to a psychic medium. Now, the psychic sat with this doll for a while, and she came to the conclusion that this doll had a spirit of a little girl attached to it. Right, which initially the girls, they weren't bothered by. They agreed to let the doll stay. They agreed to let the spirit stay. Right, because they were nice, nurturing people, caring people. So they agreed to let the spirit stay. Like, seriously, come on ladies. Like, So it was just the spirit of a sweet innocent girl, right? This girl had apparently, she'd been found dead on the land where the apartment complex sits. So they thought it was just the spirit of a sweet innocent girl. Okay? Wrong. So when, after they agreed to let this spirit stay, this is when things really started to go wrong. Like, this is when shit hit the fan. So Lou, we remember Lou, right? The friend. He started to experience nightmares. And in these nightmares would be Annabelle. Now, the spirit that possessed the doll, I should say, was called Annabelle Higgins. So that's how Annabelle got her name. So Lou started to experience nightmares. And he would be laying in bed completely frozen, and Annabelle would start crawling up his legs. Up his legs, up his torso, and she would then put her hands around his throat. Basically and effectively to try and choke the life out of him. Like, quite literally. So, obviously being extremely freaked out by this, he then began to worry about the girls. As a good friend would. So he began to worry about the girls. Now, a few days later, himself and Angie, the other roommate, well, the roommate, should I say, they were just chilling out, hanging out, planning a road trip, right? And then they heard movement in Donna's room. So immediately they thought it must have been an intruder. So Lou crept over to the door, and he was listening to all the movement behind the door. He then swung the door open, and to his surprise, there was nothing out of place. The only thing that was out of place was Annabelle. She was now in the corner of the room as opposed to being on Donna's bed. Right. So he goes further into the room, and as he's walking into the room, all the hairs on the back of his neck start to stand up, and he gets the gut feeling that there was somebody stood behind him. So he turned round, and there was nobody there. Now, as he turned around, my palette's broke. So as he turned around, oh, I've just put that away and I need it. Jesus Lord. He got 3 claw marks across his chest. So obviously immediately he started to freak out. And these were big claw marks. They weren't just slight. But he noticed that these claw marks started to heal instantly. Okay. Right, I'm just going to go do my eyeliner and then I will be back. Right, so I'm back. So yeah, he'd had these big scratches across his chest. However, they started to heal instantly and they were totally gone in 2 days. So now the roommates realise that there may be an issue. So they contact a priest, who in turn contacts. A very controversial couple called Ed and Lorraine Warren. They're back, you guys. I told you they'd be back again. And I tell you now, it will not be the last time that they pop up. No. Ed and Lorraine Warren turn up and they come to the conclusion very quickly that this doll needs an exorcism because it is possessed by a demon who is after Donna's soul. Now, they perform this exorcism and it fails. Surprise, surprise. Now, the Warrens, they pack up this doll, they take it home, they avoid all the major highways because they're pretty sure that it's going to start affecting their car. And lo and behold, it does. So the engine starts cutting out, the brakes start failing. So Ed opens the bag, sprinkles some holy water on it, and by some bloody miracle, they make it home. Now, when they get home, they notice that the activity is starting to amp up again. Doesn't surprise me. So it was similar things. She would appear, the doll would appear in different rooms. Ed claims she started levitating at the side of his desk. So they got in a Catholic priest to perform another exorcism. Now, this priest apparently didn't believe it was real, and so he started taking the piss, basically. And he turned around and he was like, you're just a doll, you can't hurt anybody. Well done, mate. You've now just set off a chain of events that you can't stop. So he left. He performed this exorcism, he left. And on his way home, his brakes failed and he ended up totaling his car. But he survived, which I suppose is good. But he totaled the car. So after that, Ed and Lorraine Warren locked Annabelle into a box where she is now on display in the Occult Museum in Monroe, Connecticut, if you want to go and check it out. Now, please be careful if you do, because whatever is attached to this doll is still there. It's still lingering, and even if you don't believe in that kind of thing, just still please really, 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 really be careful, because they aren't the kind of things to go messing around with. Dolls themselves don't really particularly scare me, but things that can get attached to them do. So do proceed with caution. If you are going to go and visit, just proceed with caution. Don't go making a big joke, a big song and dance about it. But that is essentially the story of Annabelle. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I will be uploading again on Tuesday at around 5 o'clock. So I will see you guys on Tuesday at 5 o'clock. I love you all, and as always, stay spooky.